Hello guys, today another important topic in the 100 days concepts, that is blood. Okay, yesterday class we did complete about plasma. Okay, in the blood there is a plasma. Today we are going to discuss the blood cells. Okay, this is the composition of blood. We did complete the previous class, which is plasma. In that plasma, water, how much percentage, what are the plasma proteins and their functions, and what are the other solids we completed. And now we are going to look into the blood. The formed elements. What are the formed elements are RBCs, WBCs and platelets. Okay, how they formed, where they can produce, and what are the functions. Today class we are going to discuss. If come to the WBC again two types, agranulocytes and granulocytes. Agranulocytes again two types, which is lymphocytes and monocytes. Granulocytes again three types, which is neutrophils, eosinophils and basophils. This is the class. Today we are going to discuss the formed elements, how they produce in the bone marrow, and what are the functions of the formed elements. Today we are going to discuss, guys. Okay, yes. Yeah, blood cells. That are RBCs, WBC and platelets. Where they can produce, this is the question, where they produce. How they produce, what they can do, what are they. These are the questions in our mind, right? Yeah, we are going to look into this. First, where? Where mean there is an answer, bone marrow. Bone marrow. If bone marrow, what is bone marrow? Where it is? Where bone marrow? Okay, what is bone? Where is bone marrow? Like, guys, this is compact bone. This is compact bone. In this compact bone there are parts. This part is diaphysis. This part is epiphysis. Epiphysis. Diaphysis, epiphysis is divided by a layer called epiphyseal plate. This epiphysis part, there are fragments called trabeculae. Trabeculae. This middle part of this diaphysis yellow bone marrow. Yellow bone marrow. But where the red bone marrow, RBC, red bone marrow, this place between the trabeculae, the place called red bone marrow. Red bone marrow. This yellow bone marrow is reservoir of the RBC. RBC. Red bone marrow produce these cells, guys. These three types of cells, they can produce red bone marrow. This is yellow bone marrow. We can call it is medulla. Medulla. Around the medulla, this is aversion system. Around the like medulla, called aversion system. Mean there is the cells which is osteocytes. Aversion system. Okay, this is about red bone marrow which is produce RBCs. What happened in the red bone marrow? Red bone marrow, there are cells, certain cells called, these cells called stem cells. Stem cells. Stem cells, they can divide, multiply in the mitotic division. They can give the number of cells. They can produce the cells which is the cells, that is the cells, they can reversible some cells, and some cells they can produce blood. This is reversible again pluripotent cell, pluripotent. Pluripotent. Pluripotent cell. This cell, one cell, they can to form erythroblast cell if come to the RBC. How RBC form? First, how RBC form? This is the question right now, how RBC form? RBC form from the pluripotent cell which is in the red bone marrow, that is turned into the initially this is turned into erythroblast cell. This is erythroblast cell, guys. This is erythroblast cell, turn into erythroblast cell. This is erythroblast cell. This blast mean to form. Blast mean to form. Erythroblast cell, which is this erythroblast cell, which is to form into RBC. How? Which is turn into RBC cell. RBC. How? Mean there is a chemical which is involved to erythroblast cells to turn into RBC. That is the chemical which is produced by kidney, that is erythropoietin. Erythropoietin. Erythropoietin to encourage, to support to form RBCs, and this is which is developed from the kidney. Kidney give erythropoietin chemical, and as well there is a external, that is vitamin B12 also need and B9 also need for the formation of RBC. Guys, just look into here. There is a compact bone where the epiphysis, there is a epiphysis plate, there is a red bone marrow is there. In the red bone marrow there are such a cells which is we can call stem cells. That is the capability of stem cells to give other cells, mean pluripotent cell. That is the pluripotent cell we can call erythroblast cell. This is erythroblast cell. Erythroblast cell to form RBC. In the matters of erythropoietin, they can encourage erythroblast cell turn into the RBC. Okay? This is erythropoietin which is produced from the kidney, and as well vitamin B12 also useful for the erythroblast cell to form RBC. Finally, this RBC they can reach blood vessel. Got it? This is the way how the RBCs produce. Okay? Where from the red bone marrow, which is there is a pluripotent cells to turn into the erythroblast cells. Erythroblast mean to form, that is RBC. Erythroblast cell turn into the RBC. In the matters of erythropoietin, finally they can reach blood vessel. So after attain the blood vessel, there is a lifespan of this guys is 120 days. 120 days only life. 120 days. Finally, this after 120 days, they can reach spleen. They can reach spleen. They can reach spleen, guys. Spleen. This RBCs, they can reach spleen finally. They can, this is the graveyard. Of RBC. That is the particle which is finally they can reach liver. This is what RBCs which is produced from the bone marrow. What about WBC? Okay, guys, We will discuss about WBC tomorrow itself, how the WBC is formed from the bone marrow. Tomorrow we will going to discuss. Thank you.